When did humans start having sex? Imagine traveling back in time. Not hundreds, not thousands, but millions of years into the past. You see ancient forests, giant predators, and creatures that look nothing like the animals we know today. Now here's a crazy question. When did humans start having sex? Did the first humans one day suddenly figure it out? Was there a first couple that discovered it? The answer is actually far more fascinating, because humans never invented sex at all. In fact, sex is older than humanity, older than dinosaurs, and older than almost every complex form of life on Earth. To understand this story, we need to go back further than anyone could possibly imagine. Scientists believe sexual reproduction began over 1 billion years ago. Before that, many organisms reproduced by simply copying themselves. It was fast and easy. But there was a problem. When organisms copied themselves over and over, they had very little genetic variety. If a disease appeared, entire populations could be wiped out. Sexual reproduction changed everything. Instead of one parent creating an identical copy, two organisms combined genetic information. The offspring became unique. This created more diversity and helped species survive changing environments. It was one of the most important developments in the history of life. Without it, humans would never exist. As millions of years passed, life evolved. Fish appeared, then amphibians, then reptiles, then dinosaurs. And throughout all those ages, sexual reproduction continued. When dinosaurs ruled the earth, they reproduced through sex. When the first mammals appeared, they reproduced through sex. The process had already existed for hundreds of millions of years before humans ever arrived. Now let's jump closer to our own story. Around 7 million years ago, the ancestors of humans began separating from the ancestors of modern chimpanzees. Over time, different human-like species evolved. One famous example is Australopithecus. These ancient relatives lived around 4 million years ago in Africa. They walked on two legs and looked very different from us. But just like humans today, they reproduced through sex. There was never a moment when humans suddenly discovered reproduction. Every generation learned it naturally because it was part of biology itself. As evolution continued, species such as Homo habilis and Homo erectus appeared. These early humans became smarter. They made tools, used fire, and spread across different parts of the world. But one thing remained unchanged. They still reproduced the same way their ancestors had for millions of years. Then, around 300,000 years ago, modern humans finally appeared. These were Homo sapiens, the first people who were truly like us. They formed communities, hunted animals, created art, developed language, and raised families. Without reproduction, none of these societies could have survived. Every human alive today is connected to an unbroken chain of ancestors, stretching back through thousands of generations. Think about that for a second. If even one generation in your family line had failed to have children, you wouldn't be here right now. The same is true for every person on Earth. As human civilizations developed, people began recording their beliefs and traditions. Ancient Egyptians wrote about family life. Ancient Greeks created stories involving relationships and marriage. Ancient Indians wrote texts discussing society and family structures. Ancient Chinese civilizations developed their own traditions as well. Across the world, cultures created different customs surrounding relationships, marriage, and raising children. But despite these differences, the biological process remained the same. Today, scientists continue studying human evolution and reproduction. The evidence tells us something incredible. Humans didn't invent sex. Humans inherited it. The process is so ancient that it predates humanity by hundreds of millions of years. It survived mass extinctions. It survived the rise and fall of dinosaurs. It survived ice ages. And eventually it led to us. So the next time someone asks, when did humans start having sex? You can tell them the truth. Humans have always reproduced through sex. There was never a day when it was invented or discovered. It's part of a story that began long before the first human ever walked the earth. A story stretching back more than 1 billion years. And amazingly, that ancient story continues today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more fascinating science and history content.